Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody logged in today. My name is Mary Owen, and I want to thank you so much for attending today's presentation on the ArcServe Unified Data Protection Solution. Chris Bertrand, who is our Vice President of Product Marketing, will be your host today, and you can send him questions throughout the presentation using the questions section of your interface. Later this afternoon, I'll send everybody an email of this webcast, so you can keep an eye out for that. And with that out of the way, take it away, Christoph.
Thank you very much, Mary. Hello, everyone. Real pleasure to be here today. In the next few minutes, I will tell you a little more about our UDP portfolio of offerings. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you of who we are. We are essentially a new global company. So you may have known ArcServe in the past from oops, I'm going a little bit fast here, from a few years ago. And the thing is that we've become independent on August 1st of 2014. So overnight, we became the largest startup in our space. And it's great to be independent again. And we've been very busy at ArcServe in the past 2 years or so. Not only have we won many awards for our UDP technology, in particular around the virtualization support, so we do extremely well at protecting virtual environments, but also across the board with our solution as well as our appliances. So just know that we are independent. We have many customers around the world. We are present in many countries, and as an independent company, you can expect to see a lot more of us in the next few years and a lot more innovation, such as the UDP technology. Very, very pleased again to be here today to take you through some of the architectural dimensions of UDP, as well as present to you our ArcServe appliance, as well as the ArcServe Cloud. So let's get going. As you can see here,
Christoph, I'm sorry,
yes?
your slide is not advancing. If you could click on that just one more time.
Okay, let me move this window away from the shared application. Okay. There is something sort of flashing here. Maybe you can take over, Mary, and take us through the next slide. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right, so let's go to slide 3. So one of the things I want to do is walk you through the architecture of UDP, and in order to do that, I want to start to build a picture of what we do, and as I go through this, I'll explain in more detail how we do things, and I'll have a couple of drill down points. But again, we're going to make this fast, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions. There's a lot more detail and content on our website that you should go take a look at if you have more questions. First of all, we're a data protection backup and recovery solution. We're going to protect your primary site. We do extremely well at protecting virtual environments. As I said, we won many awards in that space. We also protect physical environments. We have a solution that essentially also includes the ability to do hardware-based snapshots so on NetApp appliances, for example. We provide many capabilities for recovery. So backup is great, but recovery is even more important. Whether you're trying to do bare metal recovery, whether you want to leverage virtual type of capabilities in the process of recovery, and we have 2 options, an instant VM or what we call virtual standby. And we also have a high availability module that is optional that gives you true RPOs and RTOs that are close to 0. So very, very powerful type of solution that really answers this big question of how do I control my data protection SLAs, how do I control my RPO and RTO, how do I deliver on that mission. So the one thing that I want to point out is we have great support for tape environments. We are leveraging our heritage here for sure, but just know that it is something that we do very, very well. And I believe that as you look at current technologies and current configurations and architectures, truly what we're seeing is a disk-to-disk-to-tape type of topology, and now cloud also being in the mix. So as you're looking at your options in terms of evolving your infrastructure, you can certainly look at disk-to-disk, and that's what we do with UDP. As you can see, we can protect your primary or your original site. We will also do something that is very unique and that is extremely powerful, and that's going to change the economics of data protection for you. We have global deduplication. It is truly global. It is source-based, and that means that we only back up data that is new. If we've seen the blocks before, the data before, we will not back it up again. So we can achieve extremely high level of data reduction in terms of storage consumption, and we also add a little compression to it. So let's build this picture up and show you how we work. What's really very nice about the UDP technology, and you can see the little RPS logo, it means recovery point server. That's the brains of the operation. It comes with built-in deduplication as well as built-in replication, meaning you can take that deduplicated data store and share it and copy it to secondary sites, for example. Or here, in this case, you could leverage one of our appliances in your branch office, protect your data locally, deduplicate it, benefit from the deduplication from everybody else because it's global, and copy that data to your primary site or disaster recovery site. Think of it this way. This is a great solution for disaster recovery, for cross-protection of sites, and for multiple site data movement. Another option that we see very often is customers who have branch offices or primary site may also want to have the ability to go to a recovery site. So that's really the third component of the equation here. Mary, if you could get us there, that'd be great. Thank you. So the disaster recovery site again is optional, but is a way for you to one more time send your data off-site where you can recover it, where you can store it for archival or compliance purposes. You could also be doing this in the context of working with a service provider that essentially provides you that data center capability. And of course, this picture would not be complete without having a cloud component. And I'm going to walk you through it because there are lots of little logos here, and you may not necessarily see the difference between all of these. And I want to be very, very specific. First of all, by the way, as we replicate data across sites, we use a WAN-optimized replication process. Our replication really works well. It works well locally. It works well over the WAN. It is a very strong technology point. We've had replication in our portfolio for a while, so we're really experts at it. As we take data to the cloud, there are multiple options. You may have or decide to work with a public cloud. We support public clouds. As you can see from the logos here, whether you're with an Amazon or an Azure or others, we support the ability for you to take your data and back it up to the cloud or leverage a recovery point server in the cloud. We also offer a disaster recovery as a service option called the ArcServe Cloud. That's why you see our logo there. I'll give you a quick update on that in the next few slides. It is, again, something you can decide to do with a public cloud vendor, or you can gain access through our licensing to the ArcServe Disaster Recovery as a Service Cloud. So lots of options for you. Cloud is core to our strategy. You can expect more in the future in that space. So as you can see, every UDP component is interoperable, whether you're prefer to purchase an appliance or you'd like to set up your own server with the UDP software. It's all interoperable. You can share the dedupe, and you're going to get essentially access to a lot of capabilities for recovery. So let's move on to a little more detail about UDP on the next slide. Here you can see a very similar diagram just to remind you of what we do. We protect sources. We optimize the storage through some very smart deduplication at the recovery point server. This is the panel on the left. And on the right-hand side, we can send that data to an appliance on the remote site or to another server. We can send that to a cloud type of environment, whether an MSP, a managed services provider, a private cloud, or a public cloud. And you can also ultimately put that data on tape should you want to do this. So lots of options. We support a number of great capabilities for instant virtual machines and bare metal recovery. You can see I've highlighted some of them in red. These are new capabilities that we've just brought to the table with our V6 of UDP, which we just launched a couple of months ago. So that's why you see some red here. We also support many of your favorite applications and operating systems and hypervisors. I should also mention, by the way, that you can do cross-hypervisor migration or recover a virtual machine from one vendor to a virtual machine from another. That's a great advantage, and we also support all sorts of great capabilities around agentless and proxy type of backup to make things easy for you to protect your environment. And finally, recently introduced the ability to leverage hardware storage systems with our hardware snapshot integration module. Let's move on to the next slide. And here, what I'd like to do is spend a little more time on global deduplication. We have, I believe, one of the most exciting and efficient deduplication capabilities in the market today. To give you an example, and the best thing you can do is just take it, don't take it from me, take it from our customers. That's the best thing I can tell you to go do. In order to do that, just go to our website, go to the blog section, and take a look for my name and look for a blog that has screenshots of the product of UDP. It will give you a great sense for the great usability we have built in. It's easy to use. It's a web UI. It's got great capabilities. It's very easy to and simple to understand and manipulate, yet it's very powerful. And you see on some of these screenshots the fact that some of our customers have been able to protect a lot of source data and squeeze that into a very small amount of storage. So these are the screenshots that show how much source they're protecting and how much data they're actually using on disk. Okay, so there's an example in there, and we have multiple size of examples, and these, by the way, have come spontaneously from some of our customers. We're very proud of that, and they're very impressed with our dedupe in general terms. And we have an example of a large environment, half a petabyte, literally squeezed into 13 terabytes. That's pretty impressive. Now, of course, your mileage will vary, depends on the number of factors, type of data you have, the retention policies, etc. We have calculators to help you out. So when you engage with our partners, engage with us, we can help you figure things out. But just know that it is very, very efficient. It is also very efficient and allows you to get a lot of bang for the buck when you purchase our appliances, because we can squeeze a lot of source data, which is really what you care about, onto a smaller storage footprint. That ability to squeeze data on an appliance is very important, because that means, guess what? You don't have to have a lot of storage on it, and ultimately it's better bang for the buck. So deduplication, great, superb technology that also, by the way, limits or optimizes your backup window, because we are only backing up data that has changed at the source. If we've seen it before, we don't send those bits and bytes over the wire. We do not have to worry about doing that. We will just keep a tally of it, and our recovery point server will know exactly what you have, how to recover your systems, how to recover specific files, how to recover the whole system if you want to, including bare metal restore to a dissimilar hardware. So lots of capabilities here. Moving on to the next slide, I'd like to spend a few minutes on our UDP 7000 series, which is our appliance. So it's really an all-in-one data protection appliance, but it does a lot more than just backup, because we have built-in replication. We have a number of capabilities that take you to a high level of availability with built-in virtual standby, literally having standing up a virtual machine and having it ready to go with the latest backup should you require it in the case of an emergency. So you can do that off of the appliance. You can also do instant VMs, very soon with it. And in addition to this, what you get is a great, again, ability to compress a lot of data and squeeze it onto a much smaller footprint on the storage side. We come in a number of models with varying degrees of storage on board, but really what we'd like to talk about is the capacity, the source capacity that we protect. So we go from 8 to 90 terabytes. Again, your mileage will vary, but in general terms, with the benefit of deduplication, this gives you a sense for the type of lineup we have. It comes with a built-in compute, the built-in SSD layer for optimization of performance. That's where we do a lot of work on our dedupe. It is, as I explained before, fully interoperable with any other UDP deployment. So you could have software and your own server and your own storage in one site, and you could put one appliance or multiple appliances in multiple sites. We have customers who love the appliance for easy deployment into remote offices, simply because, or branch offices, simply because it's easy to deploy. It comes with wizards. Literally, you do not need to be even an IT expert to set this up. And I've heard fantastic usability stories from our beta customers, and really we've done a great job, I think, with the ease of deployment. So that's, again, something that makes your life easier and gives you a very powerful solution that you can manage locally, that you can manage remotely, that will optimize backup and recovery for your environment. It comes also with a cloud option, which is what I'd like to talk a little bit about in a minute. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you. So our cloud is really a disaster recovery as a service solution. So what it means is that if you don't have, for example, a disaster recovery center, or you'd like to supplement your current data protection, backup, and recovery infrastructure with a disaster recovery cloud type of offering, we essentially have all of that figured out for you, whether you're using the software or the appliance. We have offerings that allow you to literally take your data, replicate it with our replication capabilities. That's when optimized into our ArcServe Cloud, where we can provide you with essentially, should anything come up, should you want to do disaster recovery testing, should you want to actually have a disaster and should you want to fail over, we can provide you with your recovery point server as well as some replica servers ready to go. And essentially we're replicating the recovery point server, which is the brains of the operation. So think about it this way. One thing I haven't mentioned here is what we can do with the recovery point server in terms of helping you get back on your feet. Of course, we have lots of disaster recovery capabilities, but one very, very cool thing we do is we can literally copy that data store onto maybe a portable NAS device, and you can use that to either go seed a secondary site, so all you have to do after that is resync, or in the case of a disaster, just grab that, essentially get another recovery point server going on the site that's been affected, rebuild it from scratch, and from that point, recover everything you have. So lots of options for you to really fully benefit from the technology we put in play here. Again, highly leveraged virtual, support for the recovery process, as well as, of course, protecting virtual environments, which is really our specialty. So moving on to the next slide. I would like to keep my promise that we'd do this presentation in only 20 minutes, which I think I have. And I'm looking at a number of questions that you've been asking. So I'm going to ask you for just a quick second so I can take a quick look, and then I'll start answering the questions. I will take questions for another few minutes, and then we'll close. So is there a recorded version of this presentation that will be available? I believe there will be. Yes, and Mary will give you the details. Oh, she has already. Thank you. Where is the dedupe done? It is done actually in the recovery point server. So the workload, if you will, or the heavy-duty, heavy effort is happening on the recovery point server. So in other words, it's not going to bog down the nodes you're backing up. It's a very good question. We've really optimized where the work happens, and this way you can be sure that we're not going to affect your protected nodes by imposing some heavy loads on it. We have a very light technology there. So no need to go upgrade those nodes or anything. And by the way, we also leverage a number of other capabilities for virtual machines, proxies, agentless. The same goes with Linux. We do deduplication, and we also do instant bare metal recovery, by the way, on Linux. I think that was one of the questions that came up. We do that instant bare metal recovery for Linux. It is available with V6, not the V5. What is the cost of the UDP appliance? Well, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. It comes in multiple models, so it depends on the model and the type of requirement you have. But you'll see that we're extremely competitively priced, and truly we have optimized the time to value in terms of deploying the appliance very easily. With the wizards, optimizing the storage that's needed on board by having a small footprint of our software and a great deduplication technology, and it comes with everything on it. There's no surprise. It's as much as you can back up on it. There's no extra licensing involved. You buy an appliance, it's all you can back up with our appliance. So another question is, the dedupe done in the RPS server, then we will need a large pipe to back up remote sites. Then no, because for remote sites you have two options, right? First of all, the first backup, yeah, you may have to, if it is new data, it will have to go from the remote site to the RPS server. An option you have is to set up an RPS server in those remote sites, whether an appliance or the software, and then the dedupe will happen locally. We have, because of our deduplication, we do not transfer a lot of data between the nodes and the RPS server. Okay, so even if you had a remote site that's connected through a slow network, for example, provided there isn't a lot of change and a lot of data there, you should be just fine. But again, depending on the configuration, and we can help guide you through this, or our partners will guide you through this, we may recommend that you have a local node RPS there that will then connect with the other recovery point server for either disaster recovery, consolidation, whatever the case may be, and that exchange between the servers will be highly optimized and only confined to what's new. What is the main difference between Arcs Backup versus UDP? Very good question. Arcs Backup is our legacy product. It's kind of a file-based backup product. Great technology, solid technology. We have thousands and thousands of customers still using it, and used it, but it is also, as I said, a legacy solution. It doesn't have deduplication, source-based, global source-based deduplication in terms of efficiencies. It doesn't come with built-in replication. So really what you have with UDP is a modern next-generation data backup and recovery solution versus a more traditional one. So we have many customers who take one look at UDP, they use Arcs Backup, they love it, but they essentially upgrade and go to UDP because it offers so many more capabilities and a very modern and efficient architecture. In addition, UDP comes available as an appliance and also with a cloud, disaster recovery as a service cloud option. Does the remote RPS need a big storage footprint? It depends. We can help you calculate how much storage you're going to need. As a matter of fact, we have some great tools that can give you a very precise estimate based on your retention policy. The dedupe is very efficient. So again, go to the arcserve.com website, take a look at the white papers, but take a look at the blog section. Go take a look at those screenshots that I was talking about. Look for my name, look for the blog that I think is called Show Me the Money, and you will see that we have a great ability to squeeze a lot of source data onto a small footprint of storage. So this being said, your mileage will vary, et cetera, but you can get a sense. These are not lab manufactured screenshots. These come from true customers, real customers, and literally every day I get from our field or from our customers, I get an email that says, "Oh wow, I'm so impressed by the dedupe. I didn't think it was true, etc." It is true. It does work that well. So net for you is yes, less storage. If you have a lot of data, a lot of source data, yes, you may need a certain amount of storage, but you can bank on having a lot of optimization before you actually have to write to that storage. Are VMware agents needed for UDP? No, you do not need. Or VMware agents, I'm not sure what you mean by that. There's no agent needed on the VMware machines. We have a number of options depending on how you want to protect your environment. So you can take a look at our white papers to break down what you need where, but we do agentless backup. I think that was the question. So I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible. Internal tape backup. Sorry, back to tape media. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question here, but just know that there's a question around tape. I would say, here's the thing. This is UDP is a modern architecture, and the strategy you're going to implement with it is disk to disk to nothing, if that's what you want to do, to other disk, if that's what you want to do, have multiple UDP appliances or servers, or disk to cloud, disk to tape. You can really combine, mix and match, and you know the world is changing. I was recently talking to very, very knowledgeable industry analyst, and you know the things are changing, and it's important to be adaptable. And if anything, I would say UDP is one of the most adaptable products you will find in this business for a few reasons. Number one, we have advanced tape support. Not everybody needs it, I understand that, but we have very, very great features for writing to tape environments, and it's not something you just check the box on. You have to have done that for a while to know what you're doing. Same for recovery, obviously. We support physical systems. We are the best at protecting virtual environments. We have won 3 awards just last year from VMworld, including Best of Show, Best Solution for BCDR, and Best BCDR Project, all based on our virtualization support. We support Linux and provide a full capability around deduplication for both Windows and Linux nodes. We have again, a very complete solution here that allows you to decide and change where and how you want to protect your data, and more importantly, how you can recover your systems and your data. Also, I want to finally mention, since we have 1 more minute, remember we have a high availability optional module. Not everybody has that. Actually, very few people have that, and that means you can get to recovery point objectives and recovery time objectives that are very close to 0, not 15 minutes. That's not high availability, close to 0. So thank you very much, everyone, for your time. I know we went through a lot of content very quickly, but I hope you will come see us on our website, download the product. It's fun to play with. We have a free download. You can play with it for 30 days. And I will turn it over back to you, Mary, now for the final words.
Thank you, Christophe. Great presentation, and thank you to everybody that attended today. And for those of you that submitted questions, really great questions. As Christophe said, if you have any additional questions for us, please feel free to reach out to us at our website, arcserve.com. When you go out there, there are options to have a call back. You can download a trial, or you can give us a call. The phone number is right there on this website, so we'll be happy to help you however you like. This afternoon, I'll be sending out a recording of this presentation, and I'll also include a link to the blog that Christophe mentioned, so you can keep an eye out for that. It's a really great piece with a lot of great customer examples. And that wraps it up for today. I want to thank everybody for attending, and have a great rest of your day.